Lexie Hull has come in and made a huge difference in this game. 6 for 7.
From a 22% three-point shooter to the WNBA's most accurate sniper. From a rookie finding her feet to the fastest player to 300 assists in league history. From a team that couldn't figure each other out to making the playoffs for the first time in almost a decade. 2 players, 1 team. A season that changed everything. This is the story of Lexie Hull and Caitlin Clark and how they shocked the WNBA world.
Lexie Hull has to fire, and why not? Come on!
Picture this, Lexie Hull, a struggling bench warmer, barely scraping by with 3.8 points per game in her first season. Her shot, ice cold. Her future, uncertain. Fast forward to today, and she's leading the league in three-point accuracy, a transformation nobody saw coming. Enter Caitlin Clark. Fresh out of one of the best college seasons of all time, she exploded onto the WNBA scene like a supernova. Records started falling left and right. The buzz was electric. But here's the thing. These 2 players, at completely different points in their careers, somehow found a way to sync up and create magic on the court. And it's not just them putting in a show night in and night out. They've unleashed their star teammates Kelsey Mitchell and Aaliyah Boston too.
Here's it up there and banks it home to beat the shot clock. Clark launching ahead, and Hull with an answer on the other end.
So how did Hull and Clark become the hottest duo in the WNBA right now? Before we dive in, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Their journey is about to unfold, and trust us, you won't believe what happened next.
Lexie motherfucking Hull!
August 18th. Mark that date. It's when Lexie Hull decided enough was enough. The game against the Seattle Storm wasn't just another matchup. It was Hull's breakout party. But here's the kicker. Nobody, not even Hull herself, saw it coming. So what sparked this sudden eruption of talent? Here's the scene. Gainbridge Fieldhouse, Indiana. The air thick with anticipation as the Indiana Fever prepared to face off against the Seattle Storm. For Hull, this wasn't just any game. It was a chance to prove herself. The pressure was on, but something was different this time. As the game tipped off, Hull stepped onto the court with a fire in her eyes that hadn't been there before. Her first shot, swish. 3 points on the board.
Boston. Off to Hull. Her 3 is good.
The crowd stirred, sensing something special was brewing. But no one could have predicted what came next. Shot after shot, Hull was unstoppable. The net barely moved as her three-pointers found their mark with uncanny precision. The Storm's defense scrambled, trying to contain this sudden offensive supernova. But Hull was in a zone. Untouchable, unstoppable, undeniable.
Hull on the wing. Connects. Slings it over to Hull. Wide open 3.
By halftime, the whispers had turned into a roar. Hull had already racked up 15 points, shooting a perfect 5 for 5 from beyond the arc. The Fever's bench was on its feet, teammates wide-eyed and grinning. This wasn't just a good game. This was history in the making. As the second half unfolded, Hull showed no signs of slowing down. She moved without the ball, finding open spots with the instinct of a veteran. When she got the rock, it was like watching poetry in motion. Her release was quick, her form perfect. The ball arced through the air, and time seemed to stand still before it inevitably found its home in the bottom of the net.
Lexie Hull has unlocked that for Indiana. On cue!
When the final buzzer sounded, the stats told an incredible story. Hull had exploded for a career-high 22 points, shooting an astounding 8 of 10 from the field. But it was her three-point shooting that left everyone speechless. 6 of 7 from downtown, a scorching 86% accuracy. This wasn't just a breakout game. It was a statement. Hull had arrived, and the WNBA was officially on notice. She was always great on defense, but now that her offense has been unleashed, the league better watch out. The very next game, Hull found herself in the starting lineup, a position she would not relinquish until now. But Hull's transformation went beyond just scoring. She's always been a defensive dynamo, but now using her newfound confidence to lock down opponents. Her court vision sharpened, making her a dual threat that opposing teams struggled to contain.
Popping it in, Boston draws 2 in the corner. Hull, you bet!
As the games rolled by, Hull's August 18th performance proved to be no fluke. Over the next 10 games, she maintained an almost superhuman level of accuracy, hitting nearly 70% of her three-point attempts. This wasn't just hot shooting. This was a player redefining her entire career trajectory in real time. And guess who's helping her make it all happen? We'll talk about that, or who, in a bit. If you've made it this far and are enjoying the video, don't forget to like and subscribe. We know watching this video takes some of your time, and we appreciate you. Now back to the action.
Love it. This league doesn't know what to do with Caitlin Clark. They don't know what to do with the Indiana Fever. It's not just her, Aaliyah Boston, Mitchell, Hull. This team is coming together, and Caitlin Clark is loving it. She's laughing at you, Skylar.
While Hull was redefining her career, another Fever player was silently shattering records left and right. As Caitlin Clark's stats soared, whispers of an impossible choice began to circulate through the league. The Indiana Fever sensation had already set the WNBA ablaze with her electrifying play, but what happened next left even the most seasoned basketball analysts speechless. Clark didn't just break records, she obliterated them, carving her name into the history books with spectacular performance night after night. Picture this, a packed arena, the crowd on their feet, as Clark dished out her 300th assist of the season. The significance: she'd just become the fastest player in WNBA history to reach this milestone. But Clark wasn't done. Not by a long shot. As the season progressed, Clark's three-point shooting reached unprecedented heights. The net seemed to have a magnetic pull whenever Clark launched from beyond the arc, or at times, even from beyond the logo. But here's where things get truly mind-boggling. Clark wasn't just a sharpshooter or a playmaker. She was both. In a feat never before accomplished in WNBA history, she became the only player to record both 100 three-pointers and 300 assists in a single season. Let that sink in for a moment. One player, rewriting the definition of what it means to be, what coaches call it, a basketball triple threat. She can shoot, she can pass, and she can blow you by with her speed. The impact of Clark's historic season rippled through the entire Fever roster. Her court vision and passing ability opened up opportunities for teammates like never before. Suddenly, defenses were scrambling, caught between trying to contain Clark or daring threats like Hull, Boston, and Mitchell to make you pay.
Caitlin Clark is a superstar, not a female superstar. She is a superstar.
We were coming to see Caitlin Clark play.
She moves the needle. The WNBA has been looking for someone who moves the needle.
Speaking of Hull, Clark's presence on the court seemed to have a transformative effect on her game. The chemistry between the two was electric, with Clark's pinpoint passes finding Hull in perfect shooting position time and time again. It was as if Clark's playmaking prowess had unlocked a new level in Hull's shooting ability. But Clark's influence extended beyond just assists and three-pointers. But with great success comes great scrutiny. As Clark's star continued to rise, questions began to surface. Was her historic season sustainable? Could one player's meteoric rise change the face of the WNBA forever? And perhaps most importantly, how would the league adapt to this new breed of player who seemed capable of doing it all for herself, but more importantly, for her team?
Of course, the big difference is Caitlin Clark. I think she should be up for MVP.
As the league grappled with Clark's impact, a showdown loomed on the horizon. September 8th, Fever versus Dream, a clash that would answer burning questions about the team's success, and one that would rewrite the record books. But even the most diehard fans couldn't have predicted the fireworks that were about to explode on the court. The fieldhouse was electric that night, and fans were all in. Playoff positioning hung in the balance for Indiana, and the Fever knew they needed this win. From the opening tip, it was clear this wasn't just another game. The Dream came out swinging, building a 16-point lead that threatened to invalidate Indiana's recent success. But that's when Hull and Clark decided to remind everyone why they'd become the talk of the league. As if operating on a shared wavelength, the duo began to dismantle Atlanta's defense. Hull, once a bench warmer, was now moving like a seasoned sniper, finding open spots and punishing the Dream for every lapse in coverage. Clark, meanwhile, was in full maestro mode. Her passes threaded impossible needles, creating scoring opportunities out of thin air. When she wasn't dishing out assists, she was draining threes with the confidence of an MVP. The crowd roared with each bucket, feeling the momentum shift.
Mitchell inside, good find, Benley, cross-court, pass hole is open, and hits a three.
As the game entered its final stretch, something magical happened. Hull, with ice in her veins, knocked down her fourth three-pointer of the night. The arena erupted, and for good reason. That shot cemented Hull as the new league leader in three-point accuracy, boasting an astounding 49.2% on the season. Remember, her first half was at 22%. Not to be outdone, Clark was crafting her own piece of history. It marked Clark as the only player in WNBA history to record both 100 three-pointers and 300 assists in a single season. The rookie, who entered the league with sky-high expectations, was now shattering them. But Hull and Clark weren't alone in their brilliance. Kelsey Mitchell was slashing through Atlanta's defense, creating space, finding open teammates, and getting buckets.
23-point attempts in a five-game span.
And then there was Aaliyah Boston, the sophomore sensation who chose this night to have the game of her young career. Boston dominated the paint, pouring in a career-high 30 points and 13 rebounds, providing the inside presence that perfectly complemented Hull and Clark's perimeter assault.
Back to Boston. Boston turns the corner, gets to the rim, and ties the game.
As the final seconds ticked away, the Fever found themselves on top, 104-100, winning their first overtime game of the season. The comeback was complete, the victory secured. But this game meant so much more than just one win in the standings. It was the culmination of a season-long transformation, a night when potential became reality. In the locker room after the game, the atmosphere was electric. Clark, still catching her breath, summed it up perfectly. "I thought we just kept chipping away, got stops when we needed to, and then the crowd was amazing and helped us get it done." Her words captured the essence of this Fever team. Resilient, united, and thriving off the energy of their resurgent fan base. The implications of this victory extended far beyond one game. It gave them confidence entering into the postseason. For a franchise that had been rebuilding for years, this moment felt like a rebirth. Hull and Clark's partnership has become the talk of the WNBA. Their on-court chemistry is electric, with Clark's pinpoint passes finding Hull in perfect shooting positions. Off the court, their friendship has blossomed, creating a bond that translates into seamless teamwork. This unlikely duo, alongside Mitchell and Boston, has formed a Fab Four that has transformed the Fever from underdogs to playoff contenders. Hull's defensive prowess and newfound shooting accuracy complement Clark's record-breaking playmaking and scoring ability. Their synergy has opened up opportunities for teammates like Mitchell and Boston, making the Fever a multifaceted threat. And before we forget, happy birthday Lexie Hull. The impact of Hull and Clark extends beyond Indiana. They've shown that with the right combination of talent, hard work, and chemistry, a team can go from struggling to thriving in a single season. Are you ready for the playoffs? Let us know what you think in the comments. Like and subscribe so you never miss out on the latest news. Click the video on the screen, and we will see you in the next one.